That's when we got the offer for Crown Invitational. So it
Yep.
would have been myself, Mike Starr as the casters, and
Hmm.
then you and Wooly were like the analyst desk who sort of came in after the cast was done.
Yep.
And that was,
And then
a big event.
Inferno was the stage host.
Inferno on the stage, yeah.
Inferno was the stage host. Those were the days.
And as I recall, I actually remember, I feel like we got paid for this, and I think it was actually a pretty decent rate.
Yeah,
I think it
yeah.
was like
We did.
$500 a
It
day
was
or
like
something like that.
$500. I was like, is this real life?
Yeah, so like what happened to that?
Yeah.
Anyway, we do this event. I would have done it for free, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Like anyone would have done this for free. But this is the event. Like when I've done my last two in retrospect, I've obviously done with Malta and Dexter, two professional CSGO players, Ben. But this is the event that we start out for these guys. And I think for a lot of CSGO players from the current era, the current crop that are playing, like this was the event that put Australian CSGO on the map. And like,
Yeah.
you look at OPL at Luna
event
Park.
got us IEM,
Yeah.
by the way.
This was the event.
This is what led in. Every pitch that was like, hey, we should do an IEM came back to, we did this event at Crown and it sold out.
And it popped the fuck off as well.
Yeah, sold out in like 20 something minutes, broke the food and beverage records. Kind of like all these cool things, right? That really just showed that there was this fanatic audience here that wanted these events. And it was a sick audience and it was a sick event. And it was like, I remember, everyone online talking about how good the Aussie crowd was.
Yeah. And I actually remember people saying that the Aussie casters were really good, which is like the first and probably only time I've ever heard anyone say something nice about my casting. I go back in hindsight and look at that, I'm like, God damn, that was shocking. Unfortunately, you can't really go back and look in hindsight all that much, though, because one good thing about the event was that it was on Fox Sports. That added like a degree of legitimacy to it. You had cricket players tweeting about it because they couldn't watch their golf. Shout out David Warner. But one of the negatives of that was that there was, I don't think, a Twitch stream, or if there was a Twitch stream, it was like on a Crown esports channel that didn't have VODs saved. And so all of the VODs are basically lost. There's like one video on YouTube of about half of the game between Immunity and Cloud9. And then after it gets halfway, the audio cuts out of that VOD as well. So there's no recollection of this at all.
Yeah, my parents had a recording of what played on Fox because they played it several times later. Because if you recall, like we cut in halfway through because the golf in Korea was running over or something.
Yep.
And it sort of starts with like, hey, like me jumping in, we're halfway through the grand final, blah, blah, blah. I say something dumb and I don't even, like, I'm trying to summarize, hey, first or whatever wins. I don't even think what I said was right. But what they ended up playing later was like the whole finals, I think. And they had a recording of that on their Foxtel box or whatever it was. I assume it's gone now, but it's that was about the extent of it. So it is a shame, right, that it's not there.
Such an influential event in the course of Australian esports history, and you can't go back and watch it. There are, like, the results at least are on Liquidpedia, but they're not even on HLTV, I don't think, the results. Like, that's how little this kind of little coverage really this had back in the day.
It was such a crazy event for me, though, right? Like, the audience was there. The fact that that was the first event that I had worked on where we had real cameramen, you know what I mean? Like a real production crew. Like, it was the Vimy guys, the ACL guys out the back clicking the buttons, but the cameramen were real cameramen. We'd turned up to this thing. It was serious business, and obviously Cloud9 and VP were there. Shroud was there.
Yep.
And then
that was before he was like a big super sort of personality.
We were out there, right? We were out there. I remember like the VIPs got to have a meet and greet with like the pros. And because Brown were like, oh, you're the chef, you should be out there too. We're like, okay, well,
people really want to meet us.
No one wants to, like, literally Cloud9 and VP are there, and they're like, you should go out in case any of the VIPs want to meet you. And we're like, no one cares. We just like stood around and kind of like watched everyone else interact, right? Because we're awkward.
Yeah.
And Cloud9 came out. I don't think they got paid for it, and they went home with nothing because they assumed they were going to come second and pick up 10,000 USD. And they didn't come second.
They lost to Immunity.
Because they lost to Immunity and they didn't make any money. but it was still awesome that they came out. But even now, like thinking the change between then and now, right? And just couldn't do that anymore. Like
no international team would come down
No.
to Australia for it was a total of $55,000 prize. And yeah, I think first might have been like 25K and second would have been like 10K. No one would come for that. It's even a struggle
That's
sometimes.
obviously USD to AUD equivalent.
As well. So look, either way, a huge event, not only in terms of your career, but in terms of esports in Australia as well.